One time it hailed rock, like ice that was like this big, just out of the blue. This person let us into their house, so we were able to get out of it. Knowing how to circumnavigate my way using public transportation, something I didn't know before, but you use it all the time. Getting on a bus, getting on the train, getting on the metro, and understanding when to get off and get on, I guess. It was myself and then another American from my same group, and then our trainer who was Brazilian. And I wasn't there, but they laughed about this all the time when I was serving with them. Apparently, in the other American's first transfer, they're talking about the Law of Chastity, and he tried to say that the consequences of breaking the Law of Chastity are grave, like heavy consequences, but he ended up saying, and the word for that is gravis, but he said gravidas, which means pregnant, which is also true, the consequences of pregnant, but that's not what he meant to say, and it kind of took their investigators off guard. So. I think just in general, when people don't accept the gospel, especially if you've been teaching them a while, you're really invested in trying to help them come closer to Christ. And the worst thing is when you know that they have a testimony, but it's just too hard for them, and they give up. That's the hardest thing. Being open to other people's frames of view and their viewpoints. I learned that I couldn't really help people unless I was willing to understand where they're coming from. They wouldn't be willing to listen to the gospel if I wasn't willing to put myself in their shoes and listen to them. I ate a pig's knee once, which was different. It was all right. And then I ate a cow's tail. They also eat, it's called fígado, I think it's kidney. There was one time where this guy invited us into his house, and his brother came, and we were talking to both of them, and then his brother, this house was like really weird. We noticed when we got in there was like little animals that were like taped to like a chair leg or something. It's really weird. But in the middle of the lesson, one of the brothers like got up, and they had like this stairwell with a blanket across it, so you couldn't see behind the blanket. And there was like a light coming out from there, and he like went back behind this blanket and started like sniffing really loudly. So that was really interesting. When we finished the lesson, we left, and we didn't really go back there anymore. No, like stuffed animal or like little animal toys. It was weird. Another religion that's very popular in Brazil, I'm surprised I didn't mention this, is some African religions. There's one called Macumba, and a lot of them are dealing with like trying to talk to spirits, doing kind of like black magic kind of things, just kind of weird stuff. So we taught some people that lived in this Macumba house one time, and they had their weird trinkets, and animal skulls and things like that. But we taught them, and we set up an appointment to come back. And next time we went back, they weren't there, and there were these crates of chickens just sitting in their yard. And I was like, that's interesting. But they weren't there, so we decided we'd stop back later. So we went back later, and they were like, these people were dressed up in their robes for their religion, and they were killing these chickens right then and there. And we were like, oh, we were gonna see if we could talk to you guys, and they're like, oh, we're about to have a meeting, thanks anyways. And so that was interesting. We didn't really go back after that. In my first area, I got a little discouraged because this family that we were teaching, and they totally knew the gospel was true. The dad of the family basically just said, nah, I can't do it, and decided to stop meeting with us. And that was really hard because it was the first time, that had happened to me on the mission. And so I took it pretty hard, and I was like, what am I even doing here? People aren't even changing, you know? And that morning I read a scripture in Alma 29, talks about being an instrument in the hands of the Lord, and just doing our part. And that really helped me to refocus and understand that all things happen in the Lord's time, and we just need to do our own part. So that was a spiritual experience for me. Another cool experience I had with a lady. She ended up coming in contact with the church over Facebook. Just this bishop way off in another part of Brazil. They like became friends on Facebook, and he talked to her about the church. And then she gave him her information. He gave it to our bishop in our area. He gave it to us. And we had a long time where we weren't able to find her, but we eventually did. And she got baptized quite quickly. She had a really cool experience where she had a dream. And this angel told her that the Book of Mormon was true. And it was a pretty cool experience just to see that happen.